Greetings, ladies. Yesterday we talked about a very serious problem, domestic violence. Today we're going to continue talking about abuse, but this time talking about a very subtle and often overlooked kind of abuse, and that is emotional or verbal abuse. And we have to take this seriously. We cannot tolerate abuse in our families. You know, your children are watching how you handle this, especially if you have daughters. This is critical. You're either showing them that a woman is weak and allows herself to be intimidated and treated like a doormat, or you're showing your daughters that women can be strong and confident and yet still be loving and kind. It's time to take a stand against verbal or emotional abuse. What does that look like? What are the signs of verbal or emotional abuse? Well, I've written them out so I wouldn't leave out a thing. In my opinion, after checking many different references, this is a pretty exhaustive list of emotional or verbal abuse. Calling obscene names, yelling at you consistently in a rage, a pattern of constantly criticizing you and putting you down, prolonged periods of refusing to talk to you at all, almost like you don't even exist. Maybe a pattern of ridiculing or making fun of you, again, a continuous pattern of this. A pattern of mocking you or mean-spirited sarcasm, verbal threats of violence, intimidation through even displaying knives or guns, constantly accusing you of wrongdoing, forbidding you to talk to your parents or your friends or your siblings, preventing you from leaving the house, refusing to allow you to talk on the phone with your friends or family, and forbidding you from speaking to friends or neighbors at all. These are just some signs that you are the victim of emotional or verbal abuse, and you have to take this seriously. Do not put up with this. It might seem like, well, it's not that bad. It's not like it's domestic violence. It isn't a physical assault, but it's an assault on your heart. And God tells us to guard our hearts. Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. You're not supposed to hold your heart out there to just be, pummeled by your husband or your boyfriend. If this is going on in your marriage, and I hope it is not, but if it is, you need to take action. Go immediately to talk to your pastor or pastor's wife or a counselor or a wise mentor and bring this out into the open. And if for any reason you fear physical retaliation or violence against you by your husband, should you bring this to light, well, then you need to seek a shelter with a good friend, maybe your pastor's wife, or maybe even a domestic violence shelter. But do something about this.